According to the World Bank's most recent published data from April 2022, approximately 43%, or more than 3.4 billion of the world's population of approximately 8 billion survive on less than $5.50 US a day and are therefore considered to be living in poverty. Furthermore, 10% of the world's population lives on less than $1.90 daily, which the World Bank describes as extreme poverty. Undoubtedly, the COVID-19 global pandemic and other natural disasters exacerbated an already difficult situation for many across the globe. Then there is you and there is me. Individually, we are just one of about 8 billion living in the world. You say, I make more than $1.90 US or more than $5.50 US. I have somewhere to live and I can make some money even though it's not what I would like. I can eat. However, you also say that amid all of this, you're struggling financially. To you, life is just hard. You constantly have to be on the grind, working to make ends meet daily, living from paycheck to the point where you are counting coins to make necessary purchases. Your credit cards are all maxed out. You have negative account balances and falling credit scores, trying to figure out how you will make the next rent payment and other obligations. Of course, travel or visits to other places are nowhere in your mind because you feel sure you cannot afford it and might never be able to do so in your lifetime. Or you might be living in a country with very high unemployment rates. You do not have a steady job and you feel that there is no way for you as a youth to live successfully as other persons your age in other countries. Well, what if I shared with you 7 lessons that I learned over the years concerning money? Its cycles, its temperament, personality. Yes, money has a psyche, it does have a personality, its preferences and biases, its laws, and also that it is not limited or restricted by geographic boundaries. I know there is someone who needs to hear this today. You need to know that no matter how bad or how hopeless things may seem with your finances, it can be healed as long as you're willing to put in the work and take the necessary steps. So get your pen and paper if needs be, or jot down notes in your phone. These 7 lessons are effective and I'm sure they will help you if you pay attention and adopt the strategies recommended. This is Angie Marie and this is my YouTube channel, Simple Secrets to a Happy Life. And this is the third segment of a 3-part series on what advice I would give to my younger self. And today we're talking about money. Number 1. Money moves in seasons and cycles. Although I managed to stay out of trouble as a youth and made much progress in various areas, it took maturity and experience for me to observe that money and the assets we acquire as individuals operate pretty much like the seasons, such as summer, spring, fall, and winter, and it also moves within cycles. After purchasing our first home in our early 20s, we sold it within less than 5 years because of a career move to another town, and the tenants to whom we rented our home were unreliable in making their payments. That home, however, is worth several millions of Jamaican dollars more than the price we bought and sold. This house sale was perhaps the first big financial mistake I made. The lesson is this: never be quick to sell your home or assets such as these before building up sufficient equity. I believe we sold out of season and off cycle. Back then, a proper understanding of equity, seasons, cycles, markets, and other variables, including our home's tremendous values and location, would have been very beneficial. However, was there recovery? Of course, there sure was. And that is why I can now share without a doubt based on personal experience. In 2008, I lost more than half of my stock's value, totaling several thousands of US dollars. That was somewhat out of my control, though it was due to the markets crashing unexpectedly. But it was scary and taught me a valuable lesson. One lesson was a better understanding of the stock market and perseverance. A few years later, by 2016, I could recover sufficient stock values to purchase a home in the US immediately after a job loss. So that was great. Over the years, I've had many lows, but there have been more ups than downs. So when finances are low, for me, I no longer worry about it. Instead of worrying, accelerate your steps toward growth. Assess your errors and correct them quickly with purpose. Everything usually works out in the end. But it depends on the individual, your perseverance, your determination, your faith backed by action, your diligence, and your choices. Of course, there will be seasons of lack, but you can always recover. The quicker you get up after a financial fall, the better. There are also seasons of gains, but you must know how to manage those gains to be sustainable. You must work with the cycles and the financial seasons as they present themselves. The point here is that we should not focus on the fall or the lack. Instead, get up, make a workable plan, and stick to it, even when it's hard. In the same way we prepare for winter or harvest, do not be discouraged. Just keep at it. Have a vision, plan, and use every opportunity as soon as they arise. So, what if your challenge relates to the lack of jobs and issues concerning infrastructure in your country? I know this is huge and very difficult. However, there is currently a beam of hope. Many countries, for example, within the continent of Africa, are on campaigns to address infrastructural development. This focus is partly in response to a massive influx of persons from the North and Western worlds generally seeking to relocate to Africa. Therefore, my advice to the youth would be to prepare as much as possible, get skilled during this season, and continue seeking work such as freelancing and online work opportunities. Agriculture, construction, and other business forms are also valuable options. If there is one thing I really want us to remember from this video about money, it is that there is hope to go higher, regardless of where we're at now. So let's not get stuck in the current gear. Money operates in seasons and cycles, and the fact that you're at a bad season doesn't mean that it's gonna be like that forever. We have to prepare and work on it for the next season. Second lesson that I've learned, number 2, has to do with the money mindset. And first of all, I want to set the record straight here in dealing with number 2, which is that we cannot do anything substantial without some money. So money is actually our friend. It is not an enemy. Money is not evil. It is needed. Let us keep hope alive. Don't smother it. Don't kill it with our limiting beliefs. And some of the common limiting beliefs are as follows. Tell ourselves, well, I was born in poverty, or I was born poor, so I will never rise up. It is not true. We tell ourselves we can't make it. Don't do that. Tell ourselves that money is evil. No, we need money to live. We tell ourselves that what we have is insignificant. And let me just say this in terms of our mindset. Please do not look down on any small beginnings. Even if it is a 1 cent, it is important and it does count. Everything adds up. Next, in terms of mindset. You can do it, but we must keep going. We cannot give up, especially when it's hard, because the truth is, it is hard. So what if you don't have much now? Well, remember, your season of lack is only a season. So what we need to do now is to build up for the next season. It seeks out energy, and it is not limited by geographic boundaries. I also believe in the law of attraction. This law states that whatever you focus your energy on will come back to you. So by focusing your energy on what you want to achieve, the law of attraction states that you will exert and emit positive energy to attract what you desire. But remember this, you have to put in the work. Being younger, of course, affords more opportunity to make those goals. But it doesn't mean that you'll not make it if you are more mature. In fact, with maturity, we know there are opportunities, because with maturity, there's more experience and hopefully more wisdom to enable you to do your best. Persons who do not give up on their goals or their dreams also have a way of attracting what they desire, including prosperity. Listen, be willing to wait and see. Work at yourself for a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Many of us are too caught up with the moment. We don't want to build for the longer term. And in a lot of ways, attracting and building and keeping money takes time. Money will flow to persons with a clear, defined plan for achieving their financial goals. So we have to do our analyses starting with the end in mind. All right. So let me say something real quick about money magnets, or what I've learned about money being a magnet. Money magnets are persons with a defined, clear action plan for achieving their goals. They think in details and specifics. They do not share analyses, spreadsheets, mathematics, or apps that will do the analyses. So for instance, if they want to build a home by age 40, they do the math and they get busy starting the process toward that goal. They know, well, okay, it's going to cost me this. I have to put aside this. Within 6 months, I can do that. Within a year, I can do this. This is how money magnets think. And believe me, based on the law of attraction, they will attract more wealth as they also do the work. So I believe money is out there actually searching for people with a like magnetic fields. It doesn't like complainers, for example, or persons who love to make excuses. It's searching for people who are already prepared, who have acquired the basic skills to handle it, to handle money, because money is very sensitive. It's very sensitive. It has a personality and a nature and doesn't want to be hoarded. So money is out there looking for givers, looking for planters. I read a book recently called Happy Money, written by a Japanese billionaire, Ken Honda. You should check it out. There are so many books on money and wealth that I have, and there are some of them, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that people talk about all the time, but I also recommend Happy Money, because in that book, it looks at money's personality and just the need to be organized, the attitude we have, and the reason sometimes we don't keep money because of our attitudes and our nature. It's very, very, very interesting. So go check it out. Happy Money by Japanese billionaire Ken Honda. Number 4, that making money. Here's one of the things I've learned, and I have a deep conviction about that time is money. It is true. The more we waste time, the more we're wasting the potential to make money. So watch your use of time. In fact, most of your time, you should be looking at making money, because we all need money and time is money. So devote your time to making money. We have to use our skills, our talent, or education, or experience. What is in our hands? I all have something. What I'm good at or what I'm more skilled at is different from what you're good at and what you're more skilled at. What I'd say is, do not scorn any kind of small beginnings or look down on anything. If it's legitimate and it's making you money legitimately and honorably, go ahead and do it. Make money. Respect money so that it will also respect you. Number 5 that I've learned has to do with how to keep money. Now, I want to say this, that sometimes if we find ourselves constantly losing money, and I've heard people say it shows that you have a bad relationship with money. Okay, maybe that might be true to an extent, but here's what I believe. I believe that in order to keep money, we have to plug the loopholes or the leakages that are taking the money from us. Is the kinds of attachments that we have. We need people who are going to help us plant, not people who are always taking, leaving us in deficit. Second thing that really causes us not to keep money is living above our means. I believe that is pretty clear. If you can only afford a $500 a month or a week lifestyle, but you continue to live a $2,000 lifestyle, of course you're always going to not have money and you're always going to be in debt. So if we want to keep money, we need to find a way to live within our means. The other thing that causes us not to keep money is habits that are not beneficial to us in the long run. Certain addictions that cause us to constantly use up money that doesn't bring anything back to us. So that's one of the leakages. Cluttered, disorganized lifestyle where we end up incurring additional costs and expenses because we're not on top of it. Very, very, very important to deal with clutter if you want to make money or keep money. Lesson number 6 that I've learned is growing money. Now, here's what I believe or what I've learned. I've seen and understood that money has 2 parts to it. Part of it has to be a seed and part of it is a fruit. What happens is that many people only focus on the fruit part of money. So if all of the money that we make or that you have is used up just for regular recurrent needs, then there's nothing that we have left to set aside as a seed to be planted so that it can grow. It's the seed part that's going to set us up to prosper later. The 7th lesson that I've learned concerning money has to do with wisdom. And here's what I believe. I believe that before you accrue huge sums of money, what you need first and foremost is wisdom. Because when we have wisdom, we'll know to manage how to use that money to make more, to grow more, and get this wisdom by learning from others who are also wise. Never give up, especially when it's hard. Get in the habit of looking at a period of time, not just today or thinking about what we want for today, but we can look at, you know what, I know it's rough now, but let me set myself up for better for another year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Money seeks out open minds that are busy creating solutions. So the more solutions with greater impact to more people, the more money you're able to attract. Some of us have 10 talents, some have 5, some have 1 talent, but the point is, or the aim is, to build on that talent that we have by being creators. And based on what we create and how much we create, we will be able to make money, or more money or less money. It is important to get wisdom or to know what is the wise thing to do. When, where, and how to plant, and when to invest. My challenge to all of us is to do these things, to consider these 7 lessons and learn from them. Thank you so much for taking this time to watch and listen to this video. This is Angie Marie, and I'll see you soon.